Hi everyone, it's Kimberly back with the Illumined Guru, and I have your weekly energy update for Divine Love and Twin Flame connections. I will get to that in just a moment. I have a couple of things to announce. So firstly, I hold a free support group call for Twin Flames every month, and the next one is on Tuesday, September 26th. Okay, so that's this Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or Eastern Daylight Time, and you can, if you're not already on my list and don't have that information to call in, you'd like to be a part of that. It's basically a forum where we can talk and share, and you can meet other twin flames that are along the journey and how they're navigating their ascension process and what they go through. It's kind of like a sisterhood. Sometimes we have some brothers on the phone too, but for the most part, it's just a really supportive hour and a half, a couple of hours that we can exchange together. It's free. So if you want that information, you can reach out to me via the website. Go to theilluminedguru.com, click on the channel art, and go to the website where it says schedule session. That will take you to theilluminedguru.com, and scroll to the bottom and sign up with your email address, and I will go ahead and send you the information. Secondly, I also just announced a new class that's coming in October. It's October 10th. It's Harnessing Your Sacred Feminine. So for those of you who have taken like my, Transforming Your Divine, your Wounded Warrior into Your Divine Feminine Goddess workshop, it's kind of a spin-off on that, but we're going to talk more about the facilitation of how we harness our sacred feminine power. It's going to be great. It's an hour and a half long class. You can sign up on the website. Again, it's theilluminedguru.com. Just click on book a session and then classes and workshops. And just a quick reminder about working in private session with me. Most of you you're coming because you're ready. Some of you come and work with me on a long-term basis. I'm a soul coach and an intuitive advisor, and I use both in my sessions. But I will advise you that I cut to things, and then I also speak. I don't hold back, so I don't hold truth back. I give you what I feel and what I see, and what can serve you better. And then if there's questions about it, we can work in a soul coaching capacity so that I can help you navigate through it. So I just wanted to remind you of that. So make sure that you're ready for that. If you're coming to me for a private session, also, I'll be honest and tell you that I prefer to work with those who are going to take an active role in their spirituality and their ascension. Okay, you may not know how. You may feel stuck. You may feel, but the wanting to is very important when you come to me, because it'll drop the resistance so that we can have more of a progressive session. And my sessions are very progressive. So most of my clients I work with either on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, or every other week. And readings are often turned into long-term relationships. So if you're curious, if you haven't worked with me, I would say to book a reading. We'll start there, and then we'll see what develops from that if you like the connection. So, all right, so I've got your collective twin flame energy update. Lots of messages here. So a lot of what I'm hearing coming up, I realized it today, that there is a thread. There's always these patterns that I see in private session throughout the week or throughout the course of a couple of weeks. But the past week, one of the threads have been not just claiming our power for the feminine, not just lining up with our integrity, but also this there's really deep fixation on comparison thinking with others, and we've had this come through before. And I'm also feeling it's coming through in that we're taking things personally. So there's a hypersensitivity, and there's also a taking things personally. I've seen it. I actually saw it with a client of mine. I'm seeing it with my clients and their dynamics and how they're feeling about certain situations and certain things in their life. And I'm just feeling it, for the feminine, it's the Five of Wands that came up in reverse. And it just feels like this comparison thinking, this also like compare yourself to other, pushing against others. There could even be a dispute happening right now between you and another feminine. This is like saying that we're at odds with other feminine energy because we're not in alignment with ourselves. And what's coming up underneath is the reminder to get in line with our integrity. Remember that nobody else can offend us. We are only offended when we are in defensive, right? Like this feels like that defense. When we are not in our power, when we are not in full belief, when we are trying to protect, if we feel unsafe. So we've got to get into our power and align with that. And that's going to help this comparison stuff go away. It's going to help these disputes or arguments that you're pushing against. It's going to help all of that resolve, because it doesn't lie. You might go, oh God, I hate that girl, or that person just drives me crazy. Or maybe there's someone in your, even in your twin flame dynamic, but I feel like it's women and other women. Or it could just be like this focus on the comparison of you and other women. But either way, they're saying we need to come together as women. You need to, if there's someone who is not jiving with you right now energetically, well then pull back. You can always give yourself permission to pull back from those relationships and pull back from those people. Doesn't mean you have to be rude. Doesn't mean you have to have a dispute. It just means you can pull back your energy. Go and do you. Go and be focused on you and your healing and your enjoyment and your private time and your self-care and all of that, because that's going to help you realign and feel less irritated by those people. And also, we cannot keep comparing ourselves with other women, okay? This is going into still the shadow stuff, the inner child stuff. It's usually the insecurity around I'm not good enough, right? And I talked about that in the last video, or in the video about the pet communication. And so I'm not good enough is usually stemming from somewhere in our childhood, either with siblings, comparison thinking with our siblings, seeing how the parents treated our siblings different, or just how our parents or our guardians treated us. And so we may have developed an unhealthy belief about men, about what men prefer, and then we've watched it manifest over and over and over and over in our lives because of these patterns that we keep repeating. We're have that wounded energy in there, and then we attract it right back into us. This is a time right now, especially we just went through the new moon, and we are in autumn. Happy fall, everybody. And this is a time of positive change. And I feel that from all of this, whether it's a dispute, comparison thinking, being at odds with other women, there's asking us to remember something. One, that we are all one, okay? Two, that if you got defensive about something or you're taking something too personally, look inside yourself, because it's not the other person. It's something within you that's getting triggered, and try to identify what it is that's being triggered. And then look deeper into where those insecurities, where they began, right? Do that work, reach back, pull the memory forth, and have that awareness, bring that into light. If you don't know already, you've got to know where that insecurity comes from. It's also the same insecurity that makes us want to control things, right? Because we don't feel safe, or we feel like someone's going to abandon us, or they don't love us enough, or we've got unrequited love, which it did come up when I split the deck. As one of the fears here, and some things that we've experienced in past lives and through past situations. So they're saying that positive change, Parvati is here, and she's here to say positive change is on its way. I feel like it's positive change in letting it all just be. Just You don't need to figure it out right now. They're just saying line up with you. Line up with what makes you feel good. Line up with your integrity. Line up with the things that bring you enjoyment. And if something or somebody is pulling at you, pull back. Okay? If you've had a reaction, like a defensive reaction, or taking something personally, or feeling jealousy, right? Because you're comparing with others, feeling not good enough, pull back, realign with yourself, go to the root of this. Okay? And the integrity card is really important underneath this. They're saying align your actions so that they match your values and inner knowingness of what's right for you. So I feel like some of the wounded child in us in the Divine Feminine has been reacting. And we have to really go back to meditation. Okay, this is coming up bottom of the deck of the Ascended Masters cards. So meditation, go into a meditative space, someplace where you can get back in alignment with you, with what you know to be true. Because that's the place where you're going to feel centered. And in that centered place, you're one with others. You're also more confident in alignment with yourself. And so those threats, they go away, they dissipate. And the insecurity will also fade away. You're going to emerge feeling better, more relaxed, not trying to control things. So if meditation or some sort of creative or meditative, connecting outside, some sort of a spiritual practice where you're quiet and connecting to your inner voice. And that could be doing something creative and actively creative. But at any rate, if you're not doing those things every single day, you're not taking the time to connect with your spirit and to hear the messages. And you have to integrate this into your practice. It is so vital. Okay? Don't do something you don't enjoy. Find the things that you do enjoy and integrate them. Find ways to fit it into your schedule and to make it a ritual, a daily practice, something that grounds you, something that you look forward to. Okay? So I've said this to a client or two and they're like, "Oh, that sounds like a lot of work." And I'm like, it's not work though if you're actively, if you're actively managing your ascension. That's the good stuff. That's the fun stuff. And it's not like, oh, I have to do more shadow work. No, I'm not suggesting that. I'm saying maybe reach back, identify root causes if you haven't. Find out what the beliefs are underneath these insecurities. But for the most part, just spend more time aligning with yourself, hearing your inner voice, doing the things you love, lining up with what makes you feel good, not being in your analytical mind. Being in a meditative or creative space is going to heal you in huge ways. Okay? Help you make better decisions, have better interactions with others. So the shared energy, I'm going to work across the board here and go over to the masculine after. So shared energy for both the feminine and the masculine this week is the Knight of Wands. And this feels very much like knee-jerk reactions. And I feel like it's not necessarily the twins with one another, although it could be. This feels like hasty reactions, things flying out of our mouths that we don't mean, or the defensiveness or whatever, or hastiness, and like I said, reactivity. And it's for the feminine, this could be in her interactions with other females. It could be with her twin flame, and like I said, for the masculine, this could be anywhere in his life as well. I'm also feeling like for the masculine, this can be about being a little bit impulsive with things. This could even be a little bit impulsive with money right now, they're saying, or making decisions about business or like important decisions. So watch that masculine. If you're a masculine watching this video, you identify with the masculine, you should definitely just take some time to think things through before you're making major decisions. No impulsiveness right now. And for the masculine, they're showing us, okay, so whenever we see the Seven of Swords, this feels like the masculine feeling like, I got it all figured out. But then it's like, does he really? you know? And I feel like it goes hand in hand with this. So don't be impulsive. I don't feel like he is being forthright with what he's really feeling, what he's really thinking, and he's almost tricking himself into believing something that isn't, or he's trying to make himself believe something that isn't. So he's veering away from his authenticity because he thinks he's going to get a result that's going to be good. Like, how can I give you an example? Like, for instance, talking about knee-jerk reactions, and this would be like the masculine being like, oh, let's just say he's going to go make a purchase. Okay, let's just take that as a silly example. But remember, you can apply this to like the emotional stuff and the situational stuff that you're encountering in your dynamics. Let's just say he's going to go buy a big screen TV, right? And he's like, okay, you know what? I know now's not a good time to do this because, I've been saving for this or that. But then he gets impulsive and he's like, oh, I'm just going to go do it. There's this huge screen TV that's on sale and I'm going to go get it. And so he's going to get it. And when he gets it, he brings it back and he's like, oh, wow, you know what? This doesn't even fit in this space. I don't even have a table for it. Oh, you know what? This isn't the nice screen. I should have waited and got like the nicer screen. And, this isn't all it was cracked up to be. Like, or he's going to feel like, I could have just saved that money and like just done with my old TV. It's going to be like that, where there's some sort of a regret or there's some sort of like a reality shock. So if we take the stupid buying a TV analogy out of it and we just go into like some of these situations with the masculine, like he's kind of tricking himself. He's seeing the grass more greener than it is. Does that make sense? He's seeing things more, like he's trying to like build things. Oh, wow, that new TV or that something else, that new beginning or that new something that he wants. He's thinking this is going to be great. Then he goes and he gets it, or he goes and he does it, and he's like, oh no, that's not as good as I thought, or whatever. And it's due to the fact that he's not happy within himself, and the external things can't make us happy, and the expectations that we have around, whether it be new beginnings or shiny new anythings, right? Those expectations have to come from, like, the manifestation of that has to come from within. So if we're not attached to our own joy center and our own, like, feeling goodness, and then we go and we just try to make ourselves feel good or try to do something to like skip a step, which is essentially what the masculine is doing. He's trying to trick himself. He's skipping a step or two. He's not getting connected from within. He's like trying to do it from outside of himself. So it's funny because crowning over him is the Power of Joy card. And that's what this is about. It's reminding him to get joyful from within. Because he's not going to need to be impulsive. And he's not going to need to be tricking himself into, oh, the grass is greener here or there or whatever. Because he's going to be more truthful and in alignment with his own inner happiness. And for a lot of the masculine right now, they're not really in alignment with that. So just beware of that. Crowning over the shared energy is the Justice card. So they're saying if you're struggling with anything, like if you're watching the masculine make the bad decision or follow something that doesn't seem in alignment with him, just let it play out because everything's going to find its balance. He's going to learn the lesson. He's going to be led back into alignment with himself because the other thing doesn't fulfill him. And for like the feminine, if you're in a dispute or some sort of an argument, or if you're just doubting things, let the universe prevail. Like justice is going to be served. If you feel like you've been wronged in any way at work, in your twin flame dynamic, by anybody, by the karmic partner, things are going to play out. And remember, justice is always served. The universe is listening. Stay true to yourself is the most important thing. Stay in alignment with your integrity, and everything else will work itself out. They're saying it's not a time to take action against people. Again, let people do what they will. Let your twin flame make his mistakes. Let those people that are annoying you, just let it play out. If you feel like someone doesn't have good, pure intentions around you, it's not up to you to tell others. It's just up to you to let it play out. And that's what the cards are saying. So underneath the shared energy is the Tower and the Death card. Okay, they stuck together. It was the Death card, and then this was underneath it, and it was stuck together. I was like, wow, those are two pretty big cards to be under the surface here. So I feel like this is recent things, like it could be fighting or turmoil that's in your life. It could be just the end of like the old insecurities, the old ways of being with our twin flame. This is going to give birth. I don't feel like it's an ending the way that we think. I think it's the end of the turmoil, especially if we've had a recent bout of turmoil or recent fighting or recent disagreements, misunderstandings. This is going to find a new beginning. And that new beginning, that resolution, is not going to come from knee-jerk reactions. It's going to come from just sitting with it, allowing, letting things flow. Okay? So I pulled some advice cards through the tarot deck this time. I don't always do that. And what it feels like to me is it feels like forward movement is on the horizon, and positive change, as we saw over the feminine. And this forward movement is coming, and it is really tied to your power of manifestation. So they're showing me the Seven of Wands, okay, the Knight of Cups, okay, this is like forward movement, and it feels like that from an emotional and also an earthly level, okay, how we ground and all of that. And then the Magician card is in here with this. So this feels like movement that's tied to manifestation. So they're saying like, once we can get all of this in alignment, because alignment is big. If you need help with alignment, how do I align with myself? Where am I out of alignment? Where are my blocks? What do you do to get lined up with what do I do to get lined up with myself, right? If you have those questions, book a session, work with me, because I can help you on all of that. When we're looking at the forward movement with the manifestation, it feels like doing it your way. Like you've got the tools, you're getting the tools, right? And then it's like doing it now, like you know the way. If this is what they're saying, the guides are saying, you know the way. You already know the way. And then once you know the way, you see the path and you see it clearly, because that's going to come after we get in alignment with ourselves. Manifestation can happen very quickly, okay? It's like the path will be illuminated. But when things feel like tumultuous or confusing, or like there's been yuckiness or disagreements or disputes, or that you're going against the odds, going, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, I guess going against the grain, that can leave like a very mucky, muddy energy. And what they're saying is when you get back in alignment with yourself and with source energy, you're going to see the path. You're going to know what the action steps are. You're going to know how to create the positive change. It's not even going to be like really tactical. You're just going to like see the path illuminated and follow it. And that's going to really help you manifest things. So that's great. I hadn't flipped the Angel Therapy deck over, and I just did it, and look what's at the bottom, twin flames. So twin flames are coming up, and I love that bottom of the deck because I feel like the message right now for Twin Flames is no matter what you're struggling with individually, this connection still is. And I think a lot of the work right now is on the self and on ourselves as individuals. And take the attachment out of the union. Take the attachment out of the outcome and really just focus on you. And this connection isn't going anywhere. Okay? So, let's see. Bottom of the deck for the Tarot was the Star card. This is very good. This is flow, prosperity, good things, stars aligning for you. Again, I think it's tied to manifestation. I think it's tied to the path being illuminated, things flowing once we get in alignment with ourselves. And then past life, or the early life cards that I work with. I say past life, early life, or whatever is relevant in the now. It's usually stuff we've carried through many lifetimes into our early life, into what's affecting us at the core now. And so for the masculine, they're showing me persecution and inquisition. So this is about him claiming his, I feel like it's his, it is still that attachment to source, to self, to source energy, and to self, to our power center, to our ability to, for him, it's also to trust his intuition. Okay. And when you're tricking yourself and you're not connected to your joy center or the things that make you happy, or you're not finding that from within, and you go without, you're disconnected. And so then you're disowning your powers. And, yeah, and they're showing me through the angel therapy cards with the masculine that the power animal is very important right now. So he may have animal guides around him, whether he's aware of it or not sure. But they're saying your animal spirit guide is a guardian to you and is helping you with this situation. But I also feel like he's just not in his power, okay? And so he's making impulsive decisions to feel empowered, but they're not really good ones. Okay, so he's going to find that out on his own and resolve that from within. And for the feminine, they're showing me communal living. And when I first saw this, I thought, well, isn't that funny? Because she's kind of at odds with some people right now. So this is about community. This is about connection. I kept saying September is a really good time to connect, to be connecting, networking. So if you're finding yourself at odds with people, try to go back in and center yourself so that you can be more connected to your community, whether it's a spiritual community, being of service to others, networking in business, just this is part of oneness with everyone, helping one another out. This is also, for those affected by the earthquake in Mexico, the hurricanes in the Caribbean and in Houston and Florida. This can be a reality for many right now. And this is about really, really tapping into that. We are light workers. Most of us are empaths. Most of my clients are empaths, highly sensitive, highly tapped in, highly intuitive. And use your light worker healing abilities to send light to those that are in need right now. And remember that oneness and act in a sense of community and in a sense of oneness. That's a big reminder for the feminine, is not to be separate from others. You are not separate from others. And bottom of the deck, so I had split the past life, early life cards, and I showed you the unrequited love already, which was some of the insecurities here. But the bottom of that was the split, and then the bottom of the deck was kind of the transportation card. And I felt like this was important to show you because there's a trip on the horizon for a lot of the feminine and a lot of the masculine. I'd say in the next 6 months, okay? You guys are taking trips, and I think they are for spiritual betterment. You may not be going for that reason, but it will spiritually lift you up. Or maybe you are going to do like spiritual retreat or something. But something about this, even if it's perspective, in the next 6 months, it's a good time to take the trip, do the traveling. If you've had something on your mind, I know in a bunch of my readings, I've had all sorts of different timelines come up for my clients, but I've been seeing the traveling being important for many of us on the ascension journey over the next 6 months. Not constant, consistent traveling. I'm talking about like a certain trip or a pilgrimage you've been wanting to make, or like I said, like a spiritual retreat, or maybe it's just a getaway that turns into something with more meaning or more perspective for you. Those are important. For those of you twin flames that live far away from each other, I feel like maybe this could indicate like the trip, the coming together to see one another. So that's all good. So I guess that's it for what's in the cards, and I feel like that message is complete for this week. So I'll leave you with that, and I will see you soon. Don't forget to email me or sign up for the newsletter if you want the information for the free support group call on Tuesday. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.